Hi all, Jason here from Desirable Vinyl. This is the second video of my personal stock that might be interesting. None of it's for sale, it's just this is what I as a record dealer have loved over the years, and I think it'd be good exchange just to let people know, add some personality to the whole situation. I know I need to do more professional and steadier videos and that kind of thing, but I'm not a corporate kind of guy who's just looking at producing a slick image. You'll see me for who I am and what I offer. Basically, we're an online record store. I also do other music stuff as well, so it's mainly vinyl, used vinyl, albums and singles. And I also sell DVDs, not just music related, but movies, films as well, and documentaries. And I also do tapes, 8 tracks, even Super 8 and 8mm stuff when I find it. Anything really that's music or film related, but my area of, I guess, expertise, speciality, interest is vinyl. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just going to carry on with this. There is a first video that basically introduces who we are, who I am, what we do. We're an appointment-based store as well. I have an office in Evesham in the UK, in the backwaters of Worcestershire. Pretty little town. I did have a record store until late 2021, which I closed for financial reasons, like most. Sadly, I am one of 4 that have closed in the last 2 years in the area, which is very sad. Some were far more established. In fact, all of them were established for far longer than me. So in some respects, I take heart that it wasn't failure from a point of view of being a newbie and not quite getting it right. I don't view it as failure anymore, sadly. I did for a while, I lost a love for all of it, and I moved the stock out of the shop when I closed it and put it into an office and warehouse and several lockups, and lost the love for it, locked the doors and nearly threw away the key and just did some markets. So basically, I've got the love for it back, I've got the passion back. Music just keeps rising back up, and it's part of my life. This is what I do for a living. I don't do anything else. I am a record dealer, that's what I do. I'll never be rich, but I love it, and the passion is definitely back. So we do appointments. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and the website, which is Desirable Vinyl. Just look for Desirable Vinyl. You may find us still on Google, even though I've actually shut the Google business account down, because I constantly kept getting people, or others would go back into my old shop thinking it was still a record store, despite me constantly changing the algorithm and shutting the shop down and doing everything Google said I should do to remove my presence on the internet, because I still had people looking for the shop, and it closed in December 2021. We're now February 2024. So apologies to people who keep trying to find me. I'm not there. I'm in the same area. I have an office on the first floor, which is appointment only. I'm mainly online, and I do Evesham Market on the first Saturday of every month. That's how and where you can find me. Okay. So my collections, the first one went through my 12-inch stuff and jazz, reggae. So I'm going to go through some of the other stuff. This was an interesting one. The history of rock was for most of you don't know, was a series of very good pressings, which I can't remember how far they went up to. I'm sure somebody will tell me, but I think there were around 40 volumes. Volume 1 was Elvis, then there was the Beatles, they did the Stones, etc. But it wasn't just rock, it was soul as well. You've got the Supremes, Temptations, Stevie Wonder, some of the lesser known stuff as well. It was rock and roll, so he did Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Chuck Berry, So I tend to find and buy and keep the ones for myself which are kind of blues or psych or kind of British Invasion based stuff. You know, there's one with Small Faces on it, for example. There's one with Yardbirds. There's one with even prog, you know, like The Nice and things like that. But I like this one, Creedence Clearwater. They sell for about £10 in very good to excellent condition. You know, I've got quite a few of these lying around in the office. Bombers, that's a misguidance. I mean, it looks like something that either should be rock or heavy metal or something. I mean, it is rock related, but you've got, you know, I mean, look at the artists on that. So I buy these generally if I either can't afford or find the full-on original artist type albums, where obviously somebody in the day picked out what they felt was the best representation of that artist. I mean, you know, Gallagher's Taste and Ginger Baker and, you know, Stone the Crows. I mean, you know, fantastic. Maggie Bell stuff. I mean, he's fetching Stone the Crows. You'll be lucky, I think, to find a decent copy of any Stone the Crows for less than 50 these days. And the people who know me from a store point of view, and that will be the subject of a different video, but I'm just doing this as a personal collection. But anybody who gets to know me or knows me already, I don't do the very high cost records. My view is simple. Records are there to be enjoyed. They were a consumable media produced in the 60s, 70s, 80s mainly, plus decades around that either side, but basically they were a consumable media. It was the equivalent of streaming and CDs, etc. We all know that. I've been doing this for years, so it's not because I'm getting on the bandwagon. I've always had vinyl since I was 14, and I had a store since I was 40. So, you know, it was a love of music that got me back into the vinyl, the love of it, you know, which is fantastic. But, you know, as I say, it's an appointment-based company in Evesham, and you can get hold of me. Just look for Desirable Vinyl online and you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook and the website, as I said. Anyway, back to this. I digress. Back on the road again. You know, some of this stuff is a lot easier to find than the previous album I've just shown you, but Velvet Underground again, you know, combined with Black Sabbath and Hendrix. I mean, you know, it's great because it's just good. It's like having it's you know, compilation. So put in Spotify or YouTube, etc. on random bumpers. Again, an oddly marketed one, because you assume, looking at that, I do assume, based on, you know, other vinyl that I see frequently, that this would be a rock and roll or even just a crooner's kind of 60s pop type album, you know, and it isn't. It's a double album, and it's got Blodwyn Pig and Mott the Hoople, Spooky Tooth, Renaissance, Quintessence, King Crimson, Nick Drake. So it's got some great stuff, but then, you know, you've got some good old soul and reggae stuff. You've got Jimmy Cliff. Music people, most people know of this one. It's a triple album, and it pretty much covers rock, folk, country, psychedelic, prog. I mean, it covers all sorts. I mean, it's great, and it's cheap. It's, you know, it's a triple album. It's amazing. You can usually find them. Well, in my store, I think I keep calling it my store. In the office, in our little world, I think I've got about 5 copies of this at the moment. It sells between £8 to £10 depending on condition. But that's fantastic. Best of the Nice, Small Faces, Humble Pie, Clapton, John Mayall. Again, a lot of this stuff, especially original Mayall stuff, you know, is silly money. Small Faces, Ogden Nut Gone Flake, you know, £100 now for the original cover. Very strange. Hiya, Nelson. This is the office dog. Hey, buddy. Yeah, hello. So Motorhead, Ace of Spades on single. Anthrax, fantastic, Got the Time. which was a Billy Joel song, actually, believe it or not. There's a load of these came out, but because I have a van and I have a love for transits, I don't have a transit. I have a Peugeot Expert for work, but I love that one because it's kind of, there was a whole series of these that just had a load of 60s stuff on there, and pictures of custom vehicles from the time, hot rods and stuff like that. Like that one, for example. Eddie and the Hot Rods, who do not get enough credit for being pretty much one of the forerunners, if not the forerunner, in the UK for the punk movement. Yeah, Sex Pistols, you know, will take credit for that, but the reality is, you know, there was obviously pub rock going on way before that in the likes of Dr. Feelgood, but Eddie and the Hot Rods obviously did it with attitude. Teenage Depression, great album. I've got very early rockabilly on a shellac, Johnny Duncan and the Bluegrass Boys, which is actually Rockabilly Baby, so that's quite interesting because it is kind of bluegrass, but it's on that cusp where rockabilly came into being. That's 58, I believe. Little Richard, The Who's Next. This is the Moody Blues, great compilation, basically containing tracks from nearly all their really, really good early albums. Double album. Woodstock, triple album. A friend of mine got me that for £2 basically out of a charity store. Pink Fairies, oh I love, again, rough and ready, fantastic, heavy, hard, just seemed to enjoy everything they did. I'm not a massive Elvis fan, contentious, but you've got to have some Elvis, so this was probably one of the best box sets anyway, which was 50 Gold Hits, Volume 1. You know, I mean, you don't really need much more Elvis than that, do you? Pink Fairies again. You're off there, Nelson. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for your contribution. A Russian pressing of Elton John, but it's really nice. It's actually, for a Russian pressing from the 70s, it's actually really good. Robin Trower's No More Worlds to Conquer, big Trower fan. And We Are Not Your Kind, Slipknot. So these are ones that I've picked up in the last fortnight for myself. Hence why it's hence why they're not sorted. I've got all this to go through. As I said in video 1, I had 3 times, maybe 4 times as much as this, but needs must, so I had to sell a load when my business was going under. And like a lot of personal business owners who aren't in the corporate world, we want to keep our dream alive, so we pretty much sacrifice everything to do that. And I sacrificed an awful lot of my record collection, but it didn't work anyway. But hey, I'm back now. AC/DC, I do get the odd bootleg, and I buy these in as well through a trusty distributor, so it's kind of like, all bootlegs are unofficial, but it's like bootlegs that are kind of recognised as such, usually decent quality, or actually I don't buy anything that isn't. Decent quality bootlegs, excuse the dog, something's just been posted through. So I will start doing more professional posts, but I don't think, you tell me, does it really matter? As long as I'm, you know, providing a bit of a service there for you guys, does it matter that much? AC/DC's Dirty Deeds Done Cheap, done dirt cheap. Just so you know, I'm not a completist, so that album I love. The live stuff I think is great with Bon Scott. I don't have any other AC/DC. I got rid of all of it. I sold them all, Back to Black and High Voltage and, you know, Blow Up Video, all that stuff, it went. And I just kept stuff that I really, really went, no, this is Desert Island stuff, you know. Atomic Rooster I absolutely love. Steve Barrett reissues of the 2 that he did. Madcap Laughs, absolutely brilliant. Beatles, not you know, we've all grown up with the Beatles in every generation. I'm not a huge fan, but I understand exactly what they did and how they shaped the future of music. So that cannot be ignored. So I've got their early one, the really early, you know, more poppy type stuff, 62 to 66, popularly known as the Red Album. I don't have a decent copy of the Blue Album, again, because I sold it to a customer who really wanted it. So I'll find myself another one at some point. But I've got the original Sgt. Pepper's, Abbey Road, both great albums. I'm looking for Revolver at the moment and Rubber Soul. And again, White Album I sold. Beckola, so Jeff Beck. Blind Faith, with the redone sleeve. The original sleeve was weird, freaky, where the naked teenage girl on it holding an aeroplane. Very odd. And it's a copy that just, yes, sells well. They're out there, of course, because that was how they originally promoted it. It's just a strange thing in the modern world, in any world, to have had. Edgar Broughton Band. That's a very strange cover as well, with meat carcasses hanging on hooks. Very odd, but a great album. Birds. I generally buy, I like to have a variety across certain genres where I'm not necessarily insistent on having all their full-on albums. So I'll find a decent compilation. And the Collector series, which came out in the 80s, is actually pretty good. The Collector series did things like UFO. I can't think of a load of them now, but they did loads. Like The Damned and just focus. Oh, Sabbath, you know, things like that. And they were pretty good pressings, you know. They took the originals, so they weren't digitally enhanced at that time. Thank God. Colosseum Live, fantastic. Just absolutely brilliant. Love that one. Cream, Wheels of Fire. Creedence, I'm a big Creedence fan. So, you know, this one, although it's on Arcade, Arcade actually produced some pretty good pressings. I say I'm a big Creedence fan. I have got more Creedence than that, but I don't know where it's gone. That's worrying. That's something for me to look into. Probably lying around in the office somewhere. Deep Purple in rock, German pressing. Nothing particularly rare about it. There's a lot of these versions out there, and I decided to keep this one instead of the one that has the standard blue cover, which is on the rear. Look. So, you know, not of any particular value, just a slightly different pressing. Deep Purple's Machine Head, made in Japan. I like my Psych Rock, so Earthless. I'm going to get a few more done, and then I'm going to stop, and I'll do it as a different YouTube post. Free Story. And then we got Groundhogs, massive Groundhogs fan. In the last 20 years, I really got into the blues, and while I do like the British Invasion stuff, you know, obviously kicked off mainly by the Stones and Yardbirds, I am a big Groundhogs fan because they had a bit of a special spin to everything. If you've not heard their stuff, you know, Hogwash, Split, and then, you know, the best of 69 to 72, that's a double album. So yeah, I like my stoner rock because it gives you a really nice mellow but heavy beat, if that's possible in one sentence. And then harsh taupe, so again, you know, very stoner rock based. I'm a big Alex Harvey fan. I loved what he was about. I loved who he was. My mum and dad saw him back in the day when they were touring like universities and stuff in the early 70s, you know, when they brought out like Next and stuff like that, Tomorrow Belongs to Me, that kind of thing. So I'll get to the end of the Alex Harvey stuff and then I'll post another one. Sub stories. Oh, I've got Hawkwind, but again, would sell that, but you know, the copy's pretty. I mean, it's ropey. The cover's ropey, so I find really good stuff for the customers, and I'm quite happy to keep this kind of stuff back for myself, provided it plays well and doesn't wreck the needle. Hawkwind, Road Hawks, and then into my Hendrix. So yeah, you can get hold of me for appointments basically through Facebook, Instagram, and the website. You're looking for desirable vinyl. I take appointments at any point in the week and Saturdays, apart from first Saturdays of each month, where you'll find me at Evesham Market. It's a street market, and I have 20 boxes of albums, so take albums out to that one. All right, thanks very much. Please subscribe. I am open to critique as long as it's positive. Don't tell me I'm crap at doing videos. I know that. What I'd like to know more about is what you want to see. I'm only basing this really on what I've seen other dealers do, mainly in America, who are far slicker than me because they're American and they're taught how to present themselves better, aren't they? That seems to be their natural way. But I want to be natural and just show you who we are, what we're about, what the company's about, what I'm about as a record dealer. So there'll be loads of different videos about playing stuff that you may not have heard, provided I can get licenses so that I can actually play it so you can hear it, because otherwise YouTube just shuts that one down, or Facebook. I'll be doing live events on Facebook as well. The Facebook stuff will be more current. That'll be stock listings of what I have at that moment, at that time. The YouTube stuff is going to be more historical. It'll be this kind of thing, delving into certain artists, or tips on where to look for the best vinyl, where to find and look, basically on my experience and previous knowledge on how to negotiate pricing and stuff like that with people. I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs. I've learned a lot of this off my own customer base and other dealers that I've learned from as well. So I don't believe it should be kept secret. I don't believe we should keep stuff to ourselves, because most dealers do, and they're very insular, and they protect everything, their sources and how much they paid for collections. Well, I'm very open. I'll tell people what I paid, and that's what I want for it. And people can say yes or walk away, can't they? And I think honesty just works better. It works for me. See you soon.